Xbox Cloud Gaming for Android titles get touch control features that allows you to game on your phone or tablet without a remote. Microsoft updates their app to enable iPhone and iPad users to play Xbox games, and we get more news on Auto HDR. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. I hope everybody's having a good day. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more videos like this. I do appreciate the support. So last week I spoke about some new features Xbox has touted on their website, including Auto HDR, that automatically adds this feature to new games without developers having to do anything. And the best part, it does not take performance away from the CPU, GPU or the memory. So for those of you who do not know what Auto HDR is, HDR allows a game to render a much larger range of brightness, value and colors. This gives an extra sense of richness and depth to the image when compared to a standard dynamic range image. For example, the light on a flashlight look much more brighter and the red flowers look much more vibrant. As you know, Microsoft has a strong focus on backwards compatible titles. Xbox 360 and Xbox One games will all be playable on the Xbox Series X, but it will also run at a much higher frame rate. Auto HDR is now the latest addition to ensure that you not only get better frame rates but also a much richer and higher texture. HDR is not a new feature by any stretch of the imagination, but new games are not guaranteed to have it, and that is where Xbox's Auto HDR comes in. Now this feature does a lot for games, as pointed out by Eurogamer, who perfectly summed it up. For the likes of Hellblade, Final Fantasy 15 and Sekiro, the effects elevate the image and heightens the realism of their lighting. Supported display with a high enough peak brightness, ideally 600 or more, brings out details that would normally be hidden in a standard dynamic range. The sun outline in Sekiro becomes much more defined against the cloudy sky. Hellblade's overcast grey comes out clearly with a subtler gradient. Meanwhile, the dark detail pops out in caves or in long grass. Fire takes on a much more believable peak brightness in Resident Evil 3, while for racing games like Dirt 5, the headlamps hits a much more realistic peak brightness on nighttime tracks. So for those of you who are curious on how this feature will look in game, Digital Foundry did a great video testing games out, and I will put a link down in the description for their video and for the Eurogamer article that I just quoted, and I do recommend that you go and check that out. Then Microsoft just released a trailer on their official Xbox channel where they showed off some more cloud gaming, more specifically the fact that they've added auto control to 10 more games, meaning that no remote will be needed to play. Obviously cloud gaming is becoming more popular. We saw Google Stadia, which unfortunately is not doing very well, and now also Amazon Luna. Luna does seem to have some potential, but the first impressions that I saw was a bit mixed. If you are interested in the service, I would recommend that you go and check out Brad Sam's video. He goes in full detail on everything the service entails, and obviously these new cloud gaming services will have a hard time competing with Xbox because xCloud is included for free on Game Pass Ultimate, so it will be extremely hard to beat the value, but hopefully Luna does last. We want more competition in cloud gaming. That is the only way that we can ensure the best prices and innovation. But back to xCloud, as I've said, they have now added auto controls to more games. Those games are Dead Cells, Kucha Melee 2, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Hellblade, Hotshot Racing, Killer Instinct, Minecraft Dungeons, New Super Lucky Tales, Slay of Spire, Street of Rage 4, Tell Me Why and Undermine, so you can go and check those titles out. Then we got some more news when it comes to Xbox and cloud gaming. Xbox has now launched their app that allows iPhone and iPad users to stream Xbox One games. Now this is not xCloud, Microsoft game streaming service, but rather a mirroring tool. Xbox calls this Remote Play, so that is obviously great. I do believe that PlayStation 4 has a similar feature, but simply put, you connect your phone directly to your Xbox and then you can play those games on your phone. Now something like this should not be a big deal by any stretch of the imagination, but since cloud gaming services is not allowed on iOS, this seems like the closest that we will get to Xbox game on Apple devices. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, and as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.